Hey, good day, folks. Welcome to Andrew's Life. I hope everybody's doing great today. It's been a while since I made a video actually thanking everybody for tuning in and watching my videos and leaving comments in the comment section, whether I agree or disagree with the comments. My channel has continued to grow a little bit, and I would like to thank every last one of you for tuning in and watching all my videos. So, thank you. And I just want to do a quick video just giving you guys a little bit of an update of what's been going on with me behind closed doors. For those of you that have been watching me, you know I'm beyond sick and tired of working my job. But what am I doing about that? Well, I'm doing a lot of things about that. Obviously, I'm making videos for this channel because I'm trying to continue to build this channel, get it bigger to where I'm making more money and all that good stuff. And also, I'm doing a couple of things online. And on the side, I do a little bit of gig work part time. I might do gig work a few times out of the week. And I I got my other house up on the market for sale. And fortunately, I do have an offer that I have accepted for that house. Now, obviously, I'm happy about that, but I'm not going to be jumping up and down full of excitement until the day we close and I got that check in my bank account. But I do have an offer which I chose to accept. And I've been out here looking at real estate because once I get this other house sold, the house that I used to live in, I plan on taking some of those proceeds and buying myself a couple of investment properties to speed up my ability to quit my job. Now, am I going to quit my job as soon as I buy these investment properties? Probably not. But it will at least speed up the process a little bit. And I've been back and forth for the last several years on whether or rather not I wanted to become a landlord again. I was a landlord for a short period of time back during uh, 2021, 2020/2021. I was a landlord for a short period of time. And it was a disaster because, for one, I admit I was not the most organized person. I didn't know exactly I didn't know exactly what I was doing at that time because it was my very first property. As where if I become a landlord again, I'm gonna have everything a lot more in order. I'm gonna run the I'm gonna run my business much more business like, and I'm gonna also hire property management to help me out a little bit. That way, when I'm not home, I'll have an extra set of eyes on my property, and if necessary, I'll have an extra set of hands on my property as well. So, some of you guys are probably asking to yourselves, if I'm gonna be a landlord anyway, wouldn't it make sense for me to just be a landlord of the property that I already have, as opposed to selling it? And the answer to that question is no. And here's the reason why. The property that I am in the process of selling, for one, it's a very nice property. And in my humble opinion, it is too nice of a property for me to rent out. Secondly, I got too much money tied up into that property for me to want to rent it out. Now, if things don't work out and I have to rent it out, I will, but I prefer to sell it. And also, the money that I would make off of renting out that particular piece of property versus buying a couple of smaller and lower price properties and renting those out, the money I'll make off of that one property, the one I'm trying to sell, I mean, the money wouldn't be near as much. I would make way more money buying smaller and cheaper properties. I mean, my cash flow would be a lot better. So that's why I am still selling my other property, the house I used to live in, and I'm gonna take that money and I'm gonna buy multiple smaller and lower price properties and rent those out. And I've also been looking at a few different markets, both here in Alabama and also up in Indiana. And I know it's not, I mean, I know some people would argue that it's not a good idea to be a long distance landlord. And initially, I've always agreed with that philosophy. But honestly, the reason why I'm looking at Indiana is because, for one, I'm actually more familiar with that market than Alabama's market because I've lived in Indiana for way longer than I lived here in Alabama. And when I do a comparison of the different markets I'm looking at, the markets up in Indiana, I mean, yeah, I might have to pay a little bit more money for houses up there, but at the end of the day, my profits, my profit margin will also be higher. So that's what's going on right now. And now I've also, and like I said, I still got a few different markets here in Alabama that I'm still in the process of checking out. Now here's the problem that I've been having, at least right now, when I look around for rental properties in my price range. And this is something that you guys who are looking to purchase properties, I don't care if it's for investment purposes or if it's for personal purposes. A lot of the houses that I've been looking at in my price range, like this, I mean, at least here in Alabama, a lot of the houses I've been looking at, they just close in the like when I go on realtor.com, they disclose in the property description that the owner, or not the owner, but the seller doesn't have rights to the property, which that makes me nervous. I mean, there is a property back in September that I was very close to buying here in Alabama, but I backed out of that deal because it was found out later that the seller didn't have rights to that property. They didn't have the right to sell that property, basically. And, whenever you buy a property under those conditions, things can get very hairy. And you can be sitting around for months waiting for all the paperwork to come through so you can do what you want to do and need to do to that particular property. I'm not doing all that. I mean, like, whenever I get ready to go in there and buy some property to rent out, I'm not trying to be sitting around for 6 months waiting for paperwork. I need everything to go boom, 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 A, B, C, D, E, F, just smooth. You know what I'm saying? Just smooth. I'm not trying to be waiting around for nothing. Another issue that I've been running into is a lot of the properties that I've been looking at have been either A, they're complete fixer-uppers, or B, they have a tenant already in the property. Now, I would like for you guys to sound off in the comments. How many of you guys would purchase a rental property with a tenant? Now, it might sound good to buy a rental property with a tenant, but me personally, I rather buy the property vacant. For some reasons. The first reason why I rather have the property be vacant is because I prefer to choose my own tenants under the standards that I set for who is going to be occupying my property. Secondly, when these people talk about there's already a reliable tenant in the property, I would say in many cases that's probably a bull-faced lie, because if that tenant was so reliable and they were getting their rent like they were supposed to, why are they trying to steal the property? How come they don't pass that property down to their children so their kids can inherit that wealth? Or two, maybe the person is paying their rent on time. It's just that the rent that they're paying is not enough to offset the cost of the property. And the landlord, in that case, may not be able to raise the rent because the market will not allow it. And they know it. So sometimes, whenever a landlord tries to sell a property with a tenant in it, a lot of times either A, the tenant hasn't been paying their rent like they're supposed to, or B, if the tenant's been paying their rent, oftentimes the rent that they're paying out is not enough to offset the expenses of the property. And those are the reasons why, if I purchase a rental property, I'd rather buy a rental property that's vacant. That way I can put a tenant in it myself. I'll be the one to screen the tenant. My property management will screen the tenant, but I'm gonna have a lot of say so, obviously, because it's my house. So I'd rather go like that. I'm not trying to deal with anybody else's fuck ups when it comes to real estate investing. I'm just not. I mean, 'cause you got certain landlords out here that they're super nice, they're super kind. You know, they'll give anybody and everybody the benefit of the doubt. And I know it with myself. I don't consider myself a mean person, but when it comes to my investment properties, I'm gonna run a pretty tight ship. I'm gonna just be honest. I'm gonna run a pretty tight ship because I can't afford to be losing a bunch of money off of stupidity. So anyhow, that's what's been going on in a nutshell as far as real estate for me. And I don't really have much else to say. I mean, that's about it. Those are my updates. And again, thank you for tuning in and watching. I mean, yeah, it's gotten to the point where whenever I get off of work, I don't feel like doing much at all. I mean, I have to push just for me to get out here and do gig work, just for me to get out here and do things I actually enjoy doing, such as making these videos. Some days I gotta push myself to do it. I gotta force myself to do it. And it's just this 9 to 5 stuff is just getting crazy. And also, like I told you guys the other day, I'm getting very close to my year anniversary, so I'm gonna stick it out and take advantage of my anniversary. Get my little vacation time and all that good stuff. I'm gonna do that. And I mean, the last time I actively looked for work was about a month and a half or so ago, and there's not really much out here that I want. Now, let's not get it twisted. If I wanted a job, just any job, there's plenty of jobs out here. If I was willing to work for $10 an hour, mopping floors, there's a few jobs out here, but I'm not doing no $10 an hour job, because what the hell is $10? What the hell is $10 an hour going to do for me? Not a damn thing. I mean, you can't pay no bills making $10 an hour. So, I mean, like when people talk about there's no jobs out here, or when certain people talk about nobody wants to work. I mean, as I said before, the state of the economy is very local. It depends on where you're at. I mean, I've heard from a lot of people that the economy up in Indiana is still holding strong, is still holding solid. That's what people told me when I was up in Indiana about a few weeks or so ago. But I know here in Alabama, there are jobs down here. It's just that many of them ain't paying worth of shit. Some of them aren't even full time, they're only part time. And then the ones that are full time and they do pay decent, you know, you can submit your application, your resume, and you will hear nothing. And it's hard to tell what positions are legitimately hiring and which ones are fake. And all they're doing is collecting your personal information to take your personal information and then sell it to a third party. So I'm to the point where I need to start betting on myself. I mean, this is where I'm at. I need to start betting on myself. Is it going to be easy? No. Is it going to take time for me to build my brand? Of course. But I'm at the point where I got to bet on myself. I can't continue to be out here bullshitting my life away, working these jobs that don't pay crap. And then at the end of the day, you're super tired and you really can't do much else. You can't travel. You can't do anything because it seems like your whole life is tied into your job. And to me, that no longer makes any sense. And I also, some days I wake up and I'm thinking, you know what? I am incredibly grateful to not have to pay a mortgage anymore. Because I'm thinking, imagine all the people that are working jobs they don't like, that don't pay worth of shit. And they still, and at the end of the day, they still gotta pay a damn mortgage. Now, that could not be me. That could not be me. I mean, knowing what I know today, if I were one of the unfortunate ones in this current housing market looking to buy a house on a mortgage, I wouldn't do it. I would not do it. I would either rent or I would be doing van life. I mean, knowing what I know today, I would never ever go back to paying no kind of a mortgage. Hell to the no. Because to me, when you pay a mortgage, I mean, your house kind of serves as, how do I put it? Now, let me back up though. Now, I would say if you're working an occupation that pays decently and you purchase yourself a home on a mortgage and you're able to pay off that shit in 10 years, okay. But I would say much longer. I would say much longer than 10 years, no. Because if you purchase a house on a 30-year mortgage, and it takes you all 30 years or the bulk of that 30-year time frame to pay off your house while you're working whatever 9 to 5 you're working. I mean, to me, having a 30-year mortgage is kind of like being chained by the ankle to your employer. And for those of you that are out here doing car notes, that's like another chain. That's like having a chain wrapped around one of your arms to your employer. So your mortgage is a chain that's wrapped around your ankle to your employer, and the car note is a chain that's wrapped around your arm to your employer. Me, I couldn't do it. I'm not going to do it. No, thank you. I would tell somebody in a second, if you're not able to purchase a home to where you can pay it off in 10 years, 15 years at the very, very longest, do not buy a house. You'll be better off either renting or doing van life. I'm going to keep it all the way real. I never thought that I would say some shit like this, but from the bottom of my heart, I do mean it. I couldn't do it. There is no way that I could entertain a mortgage, and there's definitely no way that I'm going to entertain no car payment. I'm going to keep driving old beater hoopties for the rest of my life because I refuse to pay a car note. And fortunately, I don't have to worry about paying mortgages anymore. Thank God for that. And I also refuse to keep a credit card. Whatever I purchase, if I don't have cash money to pay for it right there and then, I don't buy it 9.9 times out of 10. I don't even need it. Because I couldn't imagine being in debt to my eyeballs like many people are. And on top of that, you work in some job you don't even like. A job that's probably not even going to keep you much past a few years. Just saying. A job that you can wake up tomorrow and they can tell you, hey man, sorry, no, we don't need you no more. For whatever reason. Alright, folks. That's going to do it for today's video. Stay blessed. Catch you all in the next one.